Welcome again to the Product Management View webinar series. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Jim Foxworthy, who will be talking to you about how the bottom of the sales cycle is not the contract. For sales, the most common goal is to get the buyer to sign the contract. And for many, this represents the last thing they do with that buyer. But the bottom of the sales cycle, or the funnel as it's often called, is not the contract. And getting the buyer through the next phase often becomes the responsibility of the product manager. What is the bottom of the sales cycle? And what responsibility do product managers have to get each buyer all the way through the cycle? We'll be hearing all about this in today's webinar. Our speaker, Jim Foxworthy, has more than 30 years of experience in the computer industry, including operations support, application development, sales, and marketing with independent software vendors. In 2001, he began teaching for Pragmatic Marketing, which provides product marketing training to high-tech firms by focusing on strategic, market-driven techniques. Jim attributes his success to his balance of technical, sales, and marketing knowledge, along with regular use of the Pragmatic Marketing methodology. He has years of experience in implementing the methodology, as he actually attended the very first public session of practical product management. And with that, Jim, over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. And good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. It's a pleasure to be part of this webinar series. I really applaud the folks at FuturePlan and Ryma Technologies for their investment in this series and their general support of the high-tech product management community. As mentioned in the introduction, I have the frequent privilege to teach for Pragmatic Marketing. In addition to that work, I have my own independent consulting practice where I help clients to implement the Pragmatic Framework. So a little teach, a little do, a little do, a little teach. In one way or another, my life is about being involved with the Pragmatic Marketing Framework, frankly, because it works. Today's talk is titled, "The Close is Not the Bottom of the Sales Cycle." So let's just go ahead and dive right in. For those of you who are familiar with the Pragmatic Marketing Framework, what's shown here on the screen is all the activities that are necessary for the successful marketing of high-tech products. The activities on the left are strategic, the activities on the right are tactical. And what we're going to focus today is a bit of a deep dive into the highlighted box, the area referred to as the sales process. And it's just really there for those of you who are familiar with the framework so you know where this subject matter lies. For many vendors in high tech, this is the typical sales funnel. We start with some awareness campaigns, we generate some leads, and then we hand them off to our sales teams. Sales then picks it up. That's where the green color portion of this diagram begins. Sales takes the buyer through the steps of the funnel, from qualification through to the close. Whether your organization has 4 steps or 14 steps, the funnel looks pretty much the same everywhere I go. This type of organization, this type of repeatable process is essential to any vendor. It provides a system for new sales reps so that they know how to actually start with a brand new buyer and take them all the way through to the contract, through to the close. It also helps internally, as the vendor can use this sort of a repeatable process to make forecasting of revenue more predictable. But who is this process for? It's focused on us as vendors and our needs. How does the buyer see this exact same cycle? Well, let's just back up all the way and keep this as basic as possible. The first step from the buyer's point of view is that they have some sort of pain, some sort of problem. Something's broken in their lives, and it's making them upset at some level. This problem, this pain, is detected by one of us, a vendor. And as vendors, we know that people in pain will give us money if we promise to make that pain go away. And frankly, we want that money. So we make the promise that we can solve their problem. The buyer believes us. They embrace our promise. This trust, this agreement between the buyer and the vendor is critical to the overall sales process and forms the initial bond between buyer and vendor.